Today's lesson, we are going to define what it is to be a conductor. So a conductor is a property or characteristic that a material or an object can have. Let's talk about some other properties or characteristics we've already learned. So in this picture, we have cotton. We know that if something is made of cotton, some properties of cotton are that it's soft, it's absorbent, and it's opaque or not see-through. So many of our clothing that's made of cotton, we like that because it suits our purposes of being soft. If we're wearing it all the time, it's absorbent, so we can run around and sweat in it, and it's going to absorb our sweat. And then it's not see-through. We don't want to wear see-through clothing. That'd be silly. Okay, now let's take a look at the wool sweater. So a material that's made of wool, a property of wool is that it's soft, once again, and that it's very warm. So if you're looking for a warmer piece of clothing, you might choose a sweater made out of wool. And down here we have a raincoat. A property of this raincoat is that, or it's made of plastic, so a property of the plastic in this raincoat is that it's waterproof. So we're going to pick different clothing items depending on our purpose, on our intended purpose, and the properties of those items. We've also talked about how some materials can sink and some float. We've talked about the texture of certain materials, right? What does it feel like? Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it spiky? Or is it smooth? So we might choose different objects based on the texture of those materials. And then we've also talked about the different mass of materials so far. So even if two objects are of the same size, one might have a greater mass and tip our scale first. Well, if you're a conductor, if an object is a conductor, it just means it has a special property of being able to transfer heat. Another way of saying this is that something just gets hot super easily. So I'm going to take a metal slide on a playground. Have you ever been on a playground and you're so excited to go down the slide? It's a nice sunny day out and you're sliding down it and it burns you. You go down the metal slide and you think, ouch, that's so hot. Why was I wearing shorts? That really hurt my legs going down. That's because the metal slide is a good conductor. On a hot day, the slide is going to heat up fast and quickly. So it's going to get hot and then burn you in the process. So that's one example of a conductor, one that is an ouch, but we can also use conductors for good intended purposes. A really common one is cooking. So let's move into the kitchen. We have our stove on, we're heating it up, and we want to cook breakfast. So how are we going to do that? Notice that in your kitchens, your cooking equipment is mostly used of metal. So you have a metal pan. You're putting that on your stove because you know that the heat can transfer quickly from your stovetop into your metal pan and cook your eggs. It can heat up easily. So the metal pan is a good conductor of heat, which just means it gets hot fast. Let's use another kitchen example. So let's say you want to bake some cookies. Notice what's on the inside of our oven. So the racks that are inside the ovens, made of metal, and the aluminum pan that the cookies are in, also made of metal. Why does that happen? It's so we can get our cookies baked fast. We're going to put our cookies inside something metal. The heat can transfer easily and bake our cookies. So in conclusion, heat passes through some materials easily, and when that happens, these materials are called good conductors. So I want you to think about other conductors you might find in your house. Do you have metal pots? Do you have metal pans? Anything that's made of metal is going to be a really good conductor. So copper pennies, other coins, iron, aluminum, metal, anything like that, those are going to be good conductors. So my challenge for you is to see if you can find an object in your house that is a good conductor. Good luck!